Ancient structures on Mars open up the possibility of advanced interplanetary race of builders. There are so many structures on Mars that it becomes hard not to believe in the existence of a former Martian civilization, as well as a remote race of builders with advanced capabilities that have shaped the landscape on distinct celestial bodies in our solar system. The Red Planet will undoubtedly continue to surprise us with all the details that are being sent back from NASA's rovers exploring the Red Planet. If these are not artificial structures, then what are we looking at? It would certainly make sense to think that if a civilization had existed on Mars in the distant past like Dr. Brandenburg suggests, we would be finding physical evidence of their existence. Dr. Brandenburg has a PhD in theoretical plasma physics from the University of California, and he is currently working as a plasma physicist at Orbital Technologies in Madison, Wisconsin. We know that the Red Planet had around 500,000 years ago liquid water on its surface. This means that its atmosphere was very similar to that of Earth, which certainly suggests the possibility that life could have prospered on the surface and depths of the Red Planet. But how likely is it that Mars had alien beings calling the Red Planet home? And if intelligent beings inhabited Mars in the distant past, would it be strange to find evidence of their existence today? Mars has always been a subject of intrigue and controversy. Ever since Viking 1 had beamed back the first images of the dusty surface of our reddish neighbor in 1976, excitement and mystery had taken hold of all the parties analyzing the material. And it was perfectly understandable, as some of the investigated imagery revealed anomalous areas hinting straight at a former Martian civilization that had thrived there, and had erected great monuments before their mysterious demise. But, such a daring idea of a Martian civilization wiped out in remote times was a great threat to the established paradigm, and although empirical photographic evidence existed, governmental groups started normalizing the finds by treating them as naturally occurring land formations. However, the images speak for themselves, and even the untrained eye can spot the huge resemblance between the ruins on Mars and some monuments on Earth. The chance of independently arriving at the same kind of life as NASA has researched on 2 independent planets is very small. And that is one of the great excitements, to see what 2 different planets evolve. How their evolutionary history proceeds. The discovery, if confirmed, is a glorious discovery. It suggests not just life on 2 planets in one paltry solar system, but that the process is very general, and that life must exist on the planets of billions of stars in the Milky Way galaxy. Carl Sagan, Cornell University, on CNN Worldview, August 6, 1996. Now, when you first hear about Martian structures, your first thought probably goes to the face on Mars, and the city of pyramids of the Cydonia region, or probably to the bizarre monoliths present on both Mars and its moon Phobos. But there are many other anomalies kept latent under a veil of silence. You can see the face to the upper right corner. What has been dubbed the fortress is standing just on top of the pyramid complex to the left, and the piece de resistance, the D and M pyramid to the right, a bilaterally symmetric, 5-sided pyramid. This entire picture is crowded with alleged structures and monuments, and it comes hard not to acknowledge the similarity to our earthly constructs. If you're still unconvinced, and believe this is just the effect of pareidolia, or a vivid imagination, you might want to look at another presumed pyramid complex in the Elysium region of Mars. There are just so many straight lines out there to blame it on the Martian climate, and since we can make a connection with the pyramids found on our planet, which by the way, are scattered throughout the entire world, the ensemble image of a former advanced civilization on Mars slowly takes shape. Of course, these are but some of the examples of Mars' unusual landscape. At this point, one may wonder if the Martians had only built pyramids and other monuments of considerable proportions, and the truth is they have not done just that. Across the Red Planet's arid terrain, there are numerous traces of former settlements. It's hard to interpret them otherwise if you are at least familiar with aerial photography and geoglyphs. During my conversation with an architect, I've pointed towards the pyramids on Mars as definitive proof of structures, but he immediately confronted me with what, in his acceptance, is the best proof of former Martian habitation. The Inca City, as it had been dubbed, is an unusual formation that had been featured in various scientific reports ever since its discovery in 1972. The pattern comprised of straight lines closing in on each other give the impression of a veritable settlement. There's clear delimitation between buildings, and the architecture is alike known Inca sites on our planet. This further consolidates the idea of a former Martian civilization, while at the same time deepening the riddle of humanity's ancient origins. And the list of anomalies goes on. This unusual T-shaped feature is too impressive to be deemed a natural formation. Its unique shape had earned it the title of the Great Hammer of Mars. The feature found in the Kenlima region has caused excitement among researchers, and it had been published and debated on several websites. And let's not forget of these curious mounds or tillers that have been towering in the vicinity of the Martian face, just a bit due east. The formation to the right is a distinct one, surprised by the spacecraft 2001 Mars Odyssey. They could both be burial places of great Martian rulers, but they could also constitute the ruins of watchtowers, or some kind of structures erected vertically. The round foundation and the circular design that's shrinking as it goes upwards hints just at that. These are but a few of the formations on Mars bearing striking resemblance to structures and ancient sites here on Earth. It also appears that government institutions and powerful private sectors are well aware of these ruins on Mars, but they prefer keeping their lips zipped tight for understandable reasons. Although countless scientists have come forward to discuss this possibility based on palpable evidence, it wasn't enough for the general public to wake up and realize that our ancestry is rooted far beyond our modern understanding, and could stretch all across the solar system, and even beyond. But, in spite of an official explanation, truth seekers have sought to piece this complex puzzle together. We are now approaching the end line, and the results are bewildering. Here are some of the ideas coined so far. Pyramids are universal. They are ancient riddles left behind by our forefathers with a role that hasn't been fully cracked by our modern-day understanding. Based on recent discoveries, pyramids could have formed an interplanetary communication system using scalar waves described by Tesla. These monuments are scattered on other planetary bodies across the solar system. Who built them is still an enigma, and these long-forgotten builders were extremely advanced, but in a way different than how we perceive advancement today. There was a great war on Mars in remote times, and some of the inhabitants with the means to transit through space have fled, while others have remained trapped on the surface and have taken shelter underground. This was discovered decades ago, and black-budget programs are believed to have been launched in order to harvest the knowledge and technology left by the builders. There are some reports coming from individuals with various backgrounds that confirm just that. NASA has been invoking a noble purpose to not publicly announce these Martian discoveries, namely the chaos that could arise after such a colossal disclosure that would shatter all established values. However, it's our right to learn about our true origins, and the silence only hints that NASA and other similar organizations are only doing the bidding of a greater agenda. The future will surely hold some answers, but it's essential to learn them now before the human race will, once again, be subject to extinction.